Welcome one and all back to the Viper's Nest. And I hope you will pardon me if you hear some food sounds in the background. I'm eating my lunch in my car while I'm recording this video because there's only so many hours in the day. Now, I did say that I was doing a Predator versus Supernatural Survival Challenge, and yes, I am still planning to do that. I'm just trying to put as much research into it as I possibly can to make it the best I can possibly make it. So that's not today, as you can plainly see by the picture on the screen. But in celebration of the fact that I finally had a chance to sit down and finish Like a Dragon, Yakuza Pirates in Hawaii, which is best damn video game title ever in my opinion. Anyway, I finished that, so in celebration of that, I decided, as you can see, that we're doing a Yakuza survival challenge today. And that challenge is, can Goro Majima from the Yakuza series survive in the Pirates of the Caribbean universe? Now, am I qualified to talk about this? Yeah, I think so. I have seen all of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Big fan of the first three. The ones that came after, not so much. But, I mean, yeah, they're alright. My kids like them, so I've seen them multiple times. On the Yakuza side, I have not played all of the Yakuza games, but I have played quite a few of them. So I've played 0, Kiwami 1, Kiwami 2, 3, Dead Souls, Ishin, Yakuza 7, The Man Who Erased His Name, Yakuza Pirates in Hawaii, and hopefully here soon, hopefully won't matter too much to this, but I will get a chance to play Infinite Wealth. I have also played Judgment, Lost Judgment, and Fist of the North Star, Lost Paradise. Now that last one you might be thinking, Jack, does that really count as a Yakuza game? Hear me out for a second. So, there is a DLC for Fist of the North Star, Lost Paradise, I think it was like $2 when I got it, that turns Kenshiro into Kiryu, appearance-wise. And if you play the game with the Japanese dub on, Kiryu is voiced by Takaya Kuroda, and Jaggy is voiced by Hidenari Ogaki. So, you know, if you play with the Kiryu costume and the Japanese dub on, yeah, it's a Yakuza game. It's not gonna matter to what we're talking about today, but I find that incredibly amusing. Anyway, so, I have not played all of the Yakuza games, but I have played a lot of them, so I feel like I've got a pretty good idea what I'm talking about when it comes to Majima. So, like I tried to do with the Terminator Supernatural Survival Challenge and the Predator Supernatural Survival Challenge that I am going to be doing, I did give quite a bit of thought of trying to figure out how best to mash these two different franchises together in a way that makes sense, and sadly, with Yakuza and Pirates of the Caribbean, there really isn't one, unfortunately. I thought about maybe trying to squish them together by using Soji Okita from Yakuza Ishin, because he's essentially just Samurai Majima. But even then, Yakuza Ishin takes place during the Edo Bakumatsu, which is about 100 or so years after the golden age of piracy when Pirates of the Caribbean takes place, so even then, it wouldn't really fit, and it wouldn't technically be Majima as we know him, so that didn't work out either. Sorry, my history nerd was showing a little bit. So, we're just gonna hand wave it. We're gonna take Majima as we saw him from Yakuza Pirates in Hawaii and just fling him a few hundred years back into the past to be there for the events of the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. So those of you who know Yakuza pretty well, you're gonna know right off the bat what a laughably unfair challenge this is. Even if we took everything away from Majima, his ship, his weapons, his crew, and just dropped him into the golden age of piracy with only the clothes on his back, sorry, he's gonna win. That's just how it is. Majima is physically so far beyond basically anything we've ever seen in Pirates of the Caribbean. Except maybe Calypso, but Calypso is literally a pagan god, and plus the fact that we haven't really seen Calypso actually do much. Like, we've seen her bring the dead back to life, help the protagonist cross into Davy Jones' locker, but outside of, like, background help, the only physical feats she has is, growing large, causing a maelstrom, and turning into crabs. That's really about it. And like, yeah, she's a pagan god, but also I figure if anyone could figure out a way to actually take down Calypso in one-on-one combat, it would be someone like Majima. So what are some of Majima's physical feats then? Well, he can punch through steel-reinforced concrete, he can jump multiple times his own height, and he's fast enough to deflect automatic gunfire using his cutlasses. So, yeah, Majima, he's superhuman. He could probably take on Captain America if he wanted to. He's strong enough to go toe-to-toe with Kiryu, the actual main character of the Yakuza franchise, and Kiryu, even in the context of the Yakuza franchise, is an absolute fucking freak of nature. Like, let me spit some Kiryu bullshit at you for a second, right? So, Yakuza 0. It's my third favorite game ever. I love it. I've played it probably 4 or 5 times through now. That doesn't matter. Anyway, so in that game, Kiryu can pick up a full, like, Harley-Davidson-sized motorcycle, break that motorcycle over somebody's head, and then have that person be fine afterwards. Probably concussed, but otherwise, alive and not dead like they should be, having a motorcycle broken over their head. It doesn't make sense. It's like, I'm not a physics professor or anything, but there's no real way that should work in any fashion. But it does because it's Kiryu, and Kiryu doesn't kill people. Except, bullshit, yes he does. That's a conversation for another time. So, when it comes to purely combat and fighting and stuff, Majima is going to dominate the Pirates of the Caribbean universe. That might seem like a weird thing to say, but let me explain. So of most of the supernatural threats that the protagonists of Pirates of the Caribbean come across, the thing that makes those antagonists dangerous is the fact that they can't really die. So, like, there's the undead with the Aztec gold from the first movie, and then there's the Cthulian fish people from the second and third movie, Davy Jones's crew, and yeah, the thing that makes both of those groups really dangerous is the fact that they can't die. But outside of that, and maybe a few isolated instances, there's not really anything that puts them above normal humans as far as combat prowess goes. We've seen normal people fighting against the undead and the Cthulian fish people multiple times just fine, and in some instances even taking them out of the fight for a good while. Not permanently, obviously, but like, Will Turner has blown up the undead with bombs. He's decapitated a fish person, and that fish person was out of the fight for a while. I'm assuming they came back because they were already kind of dead. They sold their souls to Davy Jones, whatever. We don't really see that fish person again, but I'm assuming he's still around just because of the nature of the stuff that happens. And then there's the ghost people from I can't remember if it was on Stranger Tides or whatever one of the fourth or fifth movie was. The one with Javier Bardem as a ghost person trapped in the Bermuda Triangle right up until Jack Sparrow gave away the compass, which apparently let Javier Bardem and his crew out of the Bermuda Triangle. I can't remember. I'm assuming you've seen Pirates of the Caribbean. It's a very popular Disney franchise. I'm assuming everyone has seen it. I don't need to explain this crap to you. Point is, outside of not being able to die, most of the antagonists of Pirates of the Caribbean are not that dangerous and can be fought against by normal people. So in that term, Majima is going to be just fine, because Majima is not anywhere close to a normal people. He's going to obliterate anything you put in front of him. And that's without his crew or his ship, the Goro Maru, which I'm not giving him because that would make it even more unfair, because then he would have Taiga Seijima with him. And the Goro Maru is a pirate ship, sure, but it also has things like rocket launchers, jet engines, and laser cannons, if you want to stick those on it. It'd make it even less fair than it already is. So, given that it's so unfair, why the hell am I even doing this recording in the first place? Because I think it would be much more interesting to see what Majima does as a character rather than just if he can fight everything in the universe. So, when I see people talk about Majima, I see a lot of people talk about, like, his physical prowess and stuff like that. They don't focus much on how freakishly smart Majima actually is. So, minor spoilers for Yakuza 0. The game starts with Majima being in trouble. He did something bad. I'm not going to spoil it. They took him off the street, and as punishment, they put him in charge of a cabaret club, the Cabaret Grand. So, Majima is running this club as a punishment, but he runs it so fucking well that he takes the Grand to, like, the absolute tippy-top cabaret club of Sotenbori, Japan. He's raking in hundreds of millions, if not billions of yen every night running this place. He's doing it so well that the guy who's in charge of him is essentially like, hey, Majima, like, I know you've been asking a ton to, get put back on the street, but why would you want to do that? You're doing great running the Cabaret Grand. You're making us tons and tons of money. Like, this is the best the club has ever been. Why would you ever want to leave it? You're so friggin' successful here. But Majima's like, nah, man, I want to live the true Yakuza life. I don't want to be running the Cabaret Club. So, the plot of the game happens. There's an attempted assassination. Majima has to go on the run a little bit and play cat and mouse with his own Yakuza family. And then, as part of a side quest you can do, Majima gets another cabaret club. I believe it was either the Sunshine or the Sunflower. It was the Sun something. It's been a while since I played Yakuza 0. Anyway, he gets another failing cabaret club, and he repeats his feat of the Grand again, and goes on to make this new cabaret club even more successful than, like, the 5 cabaret clubs that were, like, below the Cabaret Grand competing for the top spot. He takes broken down club, makes it the best. So he literally pulls a Cabaret Grand twice, just because he is that friggin' intelligent and smart and manipulative, I guess. The point is, no one talks about how fucking smart Majima is. Majima is very, very smart. And also, by the time of Yakuza Pirates in Hawaii, Majima, I think, is like in his 60s or something like that. So he's been in the game a while, and he is still absolutely curb stomping and outsmarting basically everyone who makes the mistake of getting in his way. So if we dropped Majima into the Pirates of the Caribbean universe, assuming he just didn't become the main character of the movies, what would he do? Well, he'd probably have an absolute ball of a time going to somewhere like Tortuga, a pirate port, lawlessness. He'd show up there and look around and be like, damn, there's a lot of money to be made here. And then he could, like, start up a cabaret club, or, since he got a taste of the pirate life in Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, he might start his own pirate fleet and outdo everybody in the entire franchise. Like, he might even beat the pants off of the East India Company when they showed up to start mucking around with the pirate business. So if he didn't take over Tortuga, eventually he'd probably make his way to Shipwreck Cove, which, with all of the pirates there, there's likely even more money to be made. Or, to make it more plot relevant, again, spoilers for the Yakuza series. So, the main character, Kiryu, has lung cancer, and that's actually, unbeknownst to most people until the very end of the game, that's actually the driving plot of Yakuza Pirates in Hawaii. Majima only agreed to go to Hawaii in the first place, chasing rumors of some kind of elixir of immortality that was tied in with this treasure of the Esperanza that everyone and their moms in that game is trying to find. It's a fun treasury, piratey treasure hunt thing going on. So anyway, that's why Majima was there in the first place. So if Majima was flung back in time or transported multiversally, whatever, to the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, he's going to hear about all of these different paths to immortality. So, like, the cursed Aztec gold, selling your soul to Davy Jones, or whoever's running the Flying Dutchman. There's going to be the mermaid tears and the Fountain of Youth, the Ponce de Leon thing with the movie with Blackbeard in it. And Majima is probably going to go one by one and eliminate all of these different paths to immortality. Like, he'd see the gold, see the effects, be like, I don't think Kiryu wants to be a skeleton person. Majima might take over the Flying Dutchman, and after a while, he'd be like, I don't know if Kiryu'd want to become like a fish person. And then he'd find out about like the mermaid tears thing, and he'd be like, well, that's fucked up on multiple different levels. I don't think Kiryu's gonna want to do that. So he might just keep hopping through all of these different paths to immortality until possibly finding one that doesn't have some kind of horrific drawback, and then he'll, either hop back to his own universe to cure Kiryu, or, I don't know, become immortal himself and take the long way around until he lives through history up to the point where Kiryu gets cancer again, and then Majima may be like, oh shit, like, it's exactly what I was waiting for. Here you go, buddy, cancer cured. So will Majima survive Pirates of the Caribbean? Yeah, absolutely, no problem. Will he thrive? Definitely. Will he find a path to immortality to cure Kiryu? That remains to be seen if Disney ever decides to get off its ass, apologize to Johnny Depp, and make some more Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Anyway, that's all I had for you. Thank you for listening to my Yakuza ramble. If you can't tell, I absolutely love Yakuza. Yakuza 0 is my third favorite game of all time. And it's the one game I would recommend to everybody. Like, I say that because my other two favorites are Resident Evil 2 and Bloodborne, and you kind of have to be a certain type of person to enjoy those games, but I think everybody can enjoy the story of Yakuza 0, especially now that there's a director's cut version out there with an English dub, which... I'm not the biggest fan of Yang Ye voicing Kiryu. I wish they would have kept Kiryu's normal English voice actor. But we also get Matt Mercer as Majima, and that's just awesome no matter which way you slice it. Anyway, thank you for listening. A like and a subscribe would sure be appreciated. And as always, have yourself a wonderful day.